Alrighty, well, thank you everyone for joining us. So tonight we're doing In Our Community with Chestnut Street Floral. These are just, the In Our Community programs are focused on highlighting members of the community's organizations, small businesses, and we just want to highlight and show what we have to offer as a community, but I'll let you guys take it from here.
All right, so she let you know that we're Chestnut Street Floral, which is 1310 Main, right down the street. Some may know it previously as Dwayne's Designs. We took it over from his family and kind of have some of the same items he had, but bring our own thing to it. I'm Casey Shoemaker, I'm the owner, and this is Kate Longpine, my manager. She's been with me for a long time. I took it over in October of 2015. And she jumped in about a year later with me on this. And our anniversary this month. And yeah, so that's kind of, we have coffee is definitely something we're known for. We have 50 plus flavors, whole bean. We grind it in the store if you want it, or you can keep it whole bean. And so like some of you heard, we have Vermont Maple Decaf for sample for you guys tonight. And then we do another thing that is fun, because it's our spin on it, that we have tried creating over the last 8 years, is gift baskets. And not your just standard gift baskets, very customized to who you're wanting to give it to, whether it's sympathy or birthday, just because wedding, we have done a lot with them, and it's kind of a fun little idea.
So not very many people know how to create a gift basket. They always come to us, say they have no idea where to start or where to begin. So it's kind of what the demonstration is about today, is to help you guys understand how to do a gift basket, what goes through our thought process of creating a gift basket. If you come and visit with us, or if you want to create one on your own, the holidays are coming up, so it's a great time to do gift baskets for the holidays or any occasion. The fall always seems to be busy with all kinds of occasions. So it's just a good time to kind of educate yourself, and then also if you do want to not do it yourself, you can come in and have us put it together, but you have an idea of the thought process behind it. So when we're asked about a gift basket, we always kind of start with what the occasion is, and we kind of go from there. So if you're looking at a birthday, or if you want to tailor it towards the holidays, we'll kind of gear towards that direction. We try to theme our gift baskets, so if you're creating one at home or out in the community and gathering things, then we always suggest, like, what kind of theme do you want in your basket? So do you want it to be fall, because it's the fall season, or do you want it to be aimed towards Thanksgiving, or is it their birthday? Do you want to pamper them? Do you want just a mixture of things? We also try to include things that are ready to eat, like we have this peach cobbler in a jar. We have some cookies that are just ready to eat versus some mixed items that they have to make. So that way there's a combination of the two. So it's not that they feel like they have to make everything in the basket. It's a little mixture of things, trying to think about what they want. And so you kind of think about what you want as well, just because it helps kind of gear the basket a little bit. And then you can also dress them up as well. So we can add fresh flowers to it. You can add a green plant to it. You can add silk flowers to them and kind of tuck them in to kind of decorate it. You can add it to the outside once you add cello to it. So all those little tips and tricks we're going to talk about. But the first thing I'd probably go off of is the theme. Once you set your theme, then you can kind of go from there. So like this gift basket here, it'd be more food. This one that's not completely done and ready, I just pulled some things so you guys can get an idea, would be more pampering and kind of relaxing. There's a little journal, there's soap, there's lotion, there's candles, there's bath salts. So tailoring that idea with that theme, if you will.
And if you don't know the person that you're, like on a personal relationship that you're buying a gift for, it could be another tricky aspect to it, to where they'll just,
like, we have realtors that come in and ask for gift baskets, so they have no idea really what that person will want.
so they'll be kind of speechless, like I don't know them, I just want to do it, it's nice. And so at that point we try to definitely not go, like dark chocolate is not liked as much.
Right.
So you're gonna kind of go towards your standard, maybe safe, or someone within the area will like it. Coffee wise, you know, if they like coffee, we're gonna go towards like, let's pack a non-flavored and a flavored, but not a heavy flavor. Like almond and amaretto is very strong. Let's do like snickerdoodle, which is a little lighter. If they don't know what beverages, we'll sometimes include like the teas, the bundle of teas that we have here. There's just several different flavors that you can bundle together, so it makes more of an impact. And then they can do the coffees. We have chai, and it kind of is more of a beverage of different ones that hopefully one of those they will like, if that makes sense. So sometimes that's tricky for people, but we can definitely help with keeping it simple.
So when you kind of figured out your theme and who you're giving it to and what the idea of the basket will be, the next thing to look at is the size of basket. So a lot of people will say, I have a price point, where do we need to begin? And I'll say, let's pull some things, because it'll also determine the basket itself. These little cardboard ones you can get really inexpensively at Hobby Lobby. The baskets, the wicker baskets, they are a little bit more expensive. So depending on your price point, you'll want to kind of tailor it, as well as the items that you pull. So this one, there wasn't very many items, so you can do a smaller basket. This one, there's more items, so you want a bigger basket. So your budget's going to kind of keep going up as to how many items you put in there. A lot of people always say they want it to look really grand for their budget, which is always a common theme. So you try to find products that are a little bit less expensive to do more, but with the cost of everything, that's kind of hard to do anymore. So we do a lot of bundling. So like these little tea packets, if you have a lot of little things, if you bundle it together, it creates a bulk, bigger item. You can do several of them together like this with a little bit of twine or ribbon, or I've done where these little card picks, or you can just get a bamboo skewer and you can tape them on there and create a nice little fan. So if you do, these little card picks are nice because they actually stick in there versus a bamboo skewer. But if you have just a bamboo skewer at home, you can easily do that and tape it to the back, and then just kind of stick it in the back or tape it to the product to create more height and dimension in the basket. So lots of little tricks like that to make the basket look fuller. The other thing would be to also look at the scale. So like this basket wouldn't be appropriate for the height of these items here, because it'll just easily get lost. Now there's ways to make the items look bigger in the basket and fuller, but you still need to start with the right size basket. So this, I would say, would be bigger for like, if you have like a bottle of wine or something that's bigger in items. We have laundry detergent that's really nice size. That would be a good one to put in here if you had a green plant to go with it. Some of those bigger items would be nicer in a bigger, deeper basket. Most of your items are going to be short, so you want to look at a shallower basket versus the deep, if that makes sense. So once you pick that scale out, then you're still going to have some items that fall down in. So like this one, when I was preparing it for the example here, I'll show you once. I'll undo it here. So I always start with the box empty, and then I throw a little bit of this little craft paper in the bottom. You can get it at Hobby Lobby, you can get it at Amazon, you can kind of get it wherever crafts are. It does get a little everywhere, but that's part of it. So I throw a little bit in the bottom of the basket, and if I were to just put this guy in there, he's kind of deep in the box and doesn't show very well. So you can just get some old paper that we save and reuse paper from packaging. You guys, I store my boxes that I get from Amazon or wherever. I store tissue paper, all that stuff. So just take some old paper and crumple it up, and I tuck it underneath, and then I throw more on top, and then that raises that up so it makes it look more presentable and nicer to give some height and levels. So when you are creating your basket, you do want to also look at that as well, of how to display it. So if this is too low still, I'll bring more paper underneath to make it higher, because you want to be able to see what's in the basket and not just throw it all in there. You have to kind of display it so it looks presentably nice, and there is a different level of how you do it. So like this one, there's height and then it falls down to the front. So your tallest items are going to be in the back, and then medium, and then short, and therefore. So if you have things that are all the same height, you need to create that height difference within the basket by creating that with the paper underneath. And you don't want to see the paper, so that's why you kind of throw it underneath the little filler here. And the other thing that we do when we are thinking of a gift basket is the color aesthetic. So for this one, well, all of them really, is when I'm pulling things to put in a basket, I also think about the color of the items that I'm putting together. So let's say if I were to have put, let's just say this, if this was red, I didn't bring something red, but I don't think the red would have looked really aesthetically pleasing to the eye if I would have put it in with all these pastel colors. And so you want it to be aesthetically pleasing as well, so you need to think about your color palette. And so I pull things, not only do the scents work well together because they're going to have it in their bathroom together, but then the colors as well. So there's lots of multifaceted things that go with picking out a basket that's well-rounded and customized to each individual person. So
we've done some fun ones. I should brought up the bottle of wine. We don't have wine, so that's not our product. But people will bring in a bottle of wine, and they'll say, you know, can you make a gift basket, or here's a gift card to Applebee's, can you tuck it in there too? The wine, you know, we've done like our little cheese ball boards and like the cheese ball mixes, and we once again kind of partner what will go with that wine. The chocolates, you know, we'll throw in a candle. They'll say, oh, it just needs to be relaxing. We've had some, especially when college starts back up, those freshmen that left home, we get some, like, you gotta send them something, and especially the guys, they're like, what can we do? You know, they're not gonna want flowers. And we'll go and have lots of different salsas, and we'll go get a bag of chips from Dylan's. We'll put different salsas in there and just different fun things that would be more for someone that age. But you can definitely use resources from multiple different stores to kind of make it all come together.
And when you're filling your basket, as she was talking, I kind of was putting this one back together, and it made me think to tell you guys. A lot of times when we're filling our baskets, it's another thing to remember, keep in mind that your product wants to fall backwards in the basket. So it's all falling and leaning. I don't know if you guys can see that backwards. And so you really want it to be up front and displayed nicely. So making sure that once you, I can't see it from that way, from your guys' angle, but once you kind of push your product in and around with the little filler, make sure, this is kind of like the last step before I put it in the plastic, I put some of that extra filler in the back to really make sure that all my product is standing up and not leaning back. It just, again, helps fill the box really nicely, and it makes everything show better in the box itself or basket. The other thing that I would highly suggest is that once you start getting things filled into your basket is I'll take and tuck filler between items to help space it out a little bit. Some people will get to where they put so much in a basket that it's almost too much. Sometimes less is more. There is a happy balance. This is almost too little of product in that box. My personal taste, I'd add more things to this one. Just maybe one or two more items, like a little book, or you could add one of these little dishes in there to kind of help fill it in. But there is a max of where you want to be. There needs to be breathing room. As we say in floral design, there needs to be a little bit of breathing room for things to show off themselves. So that's always a key factor. So not only are you looking at proportion and scale, but you're looking at colors, theme, kind of all those little tips and tricks to try and create a well-rounded basket.
And on this one, if you wanted it fuller and then you picked all these things out and you don't know how to fit it all, and say you got this cup, that's where it's fun to put this in, and you can grab the tissue, not tissue, some of this filler and raise it up and then start putting things in the cup to utilize that space to where you can get everything fit back into there. We've even done arrangements to where they don't want it in a vase, they want it to once again utilize it, so we'll do the mug and we'll do flowers in the mug, and then they have that afterwards.
So if you're feeling crafty at home and have some extra florals laying around, you can easily just take some and throw them in a little vase. You can grid the vase if you don't want to glue them in so they can reuse the vase. Gridding is just taking some tape and creating a hash mark on the top, and it'll kind of keep the florals staying in if you don't have foam or want to glue in there. So it's just very easy to kind of throw some florals in there. The other way to do it is by getting some silks. We have silks at our shop, but you can always get silks kind of everywhere anymore. But adding a little bit into the basket to help create that dimension and a little bit of seasonality to it is always nice too. But once you get to your basket to have the right height, you have the right layer and spacing, your colors figured out, your themes figured out, all of that, then you're going to come down to wrapping it. This one in particular, we would not wrap because there's fresh flowers in it. So it is kind of the way it is, the way kind of finalized. If you want to add a bow to it, you can easily add a bow to it. A simple way to add a bow, a lot of people get intimidated by bows and they're really not that hard. There's fancy ways to do them, and then there's some really easy ways. So you just kind of loop it over on itself, loop back, pinch it in the middle, cut it off, take a little extra ribbon. This is just a very simple bow. And I'll either tie it first to itself, and just a simple knot, and then you can add that to your basket just to kind of create some more finished look to the basket. And you just fluff it out, pull your tails. You can trim your tails. Some people like the dovetail look by cutting it into a V. Some people like it straight. You can get some fancy scissors that kind of make it rigid on the end too, so however you want to do it. But it can be that simple. It doesn't have to be a big grand bow. Your basket's already beautiful as it is. So something just really simple like that is pretty. The other thing that you can do is the plastic wrap. So once you get your basket filled, you can get the rolls of cello that a lot of people are probably used to getting. These are so much easier and nicer to work with, I'll be honest. Depending on the size of the basket though. So we've had some baskets that are really big and we do have to use the cello still. You just roll it out straight, bring it up, measure, and gather, and then tape your sides shut. If you want to do a crisscross, you can, where you would actually layer your cello this way, and then layer your cello this way and bring it up. But sometimes it begins to be too bulky, so I really try to find the right width of your cello. So if your basket, again, your proportion, so you want to make sure it's long enough on the sides. If you get a cello wrap roll that is, smaller than your basket, you're obviously going to have to crisscross that because the sides won't close. So you want to make sure that that size is correct. These little bags, I think you could probably get these really anywhere anymore. They sometimes come in like patterns on them. I don't really care for the patterns just because it takes away from your basket itself. We kind of like the clear ones, so the baskets, the items that you spent your money on, really show nicely. So again, they come in different sizes. So again, you want to look at proportion of what basket you're doing. So this one's a little too big for this little guy that I'm going to do. always open them up. Everyone always is kind of intimidated by them when we have new staff of how to do these. So I open it up first, and then you have to be real smooth and graceful. And I don't know if you guys can all see what I'm doing here. Kind of like putting on a sock almost, maybe. And you want to try and get it in the center if you can. That'll make it a little bit easier later on. So I've found that cutting this down, because the height of this is too big for the proportion, again, I guess you can take that to take away from tonight. I need to cut this down. So once you gather it and cut it, it becomes really jagged. So it's much easier to cut it before you gather it. So always get a nice pair of sharp scissors as well. And that helps a lot. And as I say that, these scissors don't want to cut very well. Sometimes you can just rip it too. Cello's pretty easy that way. It can also be really bad if you get it to run and it goes the wrong direction, but sometimes that works. So once you kind of get where it's about 1, maybe 2 times the height of your basket here, that's about right proportion-wise. Then I start on one side and I gather it and kind of like a little Pac-Man eating the plastic, and hold it with one hand. If you're right or left-handed, you want to do it with your non-dominant hand. And we'll do either pink or gold ribbon, maybe the pink sheer. And you just tie it tight. It doesn't have to be a knot at first. Just get it on there so it's tight. And then what I do, because I don't like this extra, I don't know if everybody can see that, but there's this extra over here. I always take just some tape. You can just use some Scotch tape. And I tape it to the bottom of the basket, and it creates a nice smooth side. And then you kind of fluff them back up. And then again, you can make a really simple bow. It doesn't have to be fancy. If you have a long enough tail, so you can just easily do a shoestring bow like you were tying your shoe. I didn't make these long enough, so it's going to be kind of short, as you can see. But just so you can get the idea, it doesn't have to be really grand with the bow. Again, you want the product to show and not necessarily put your money in the bow. So, but you can do that, or again, you can do an easy bow by scrunching. I'm used to doing the scrunch, sorry. But you can easily scrunch it. Just pinch it in the middle. Hold it there with your hand and tie tight. Again, it's not a knot yet until you get it to where you want it.
Does anyone have any questions?
Really interesting.
What did you say?
Pretty interesting.
There's a lot more that goes into sometimes flowers. Someone will call and they have like 2 minutes to spare on the phone and they want a custom gift basket. And I'm like, oh,
And
2 minutes isn't going to be enough. So yes, there is some thought into it for sure.
But that's kind of the overall thought process of how we design a basket. So again, comes down to your theme, who you're giving it to, what they might like. If you're not sure, kind of think about what you might like if you were getting it. And then color and scale, proportion, if you want to keep it more, food or pampering or a combo of things. And then thinking about your basket size, and I guess that's the main takeaway, like I said earlier, is the proportion. Some people get too overzealous with the product and not think about the scale of the basket or vice versa. So
how much would a basket like that cost?
This one, usually our smaller baskets like this, I say around $45, $50, depending on what you put in it. Again, the prices of everything have gone up. We used to be able to do a little bit more than that. But yeah, you can easily do one around $45, $50. We've done some smaller than that, like these smaller guys, but again, it only has a few items in it depending on what you pick out. So we have some dips that are like $4.50, so you can get a couple of those dips and a bag of coffee, and really kind of make it look fuller and nicer for the price. So yeah, playing with all those options. So there's a lot of variables that go into it. It's not as quick and fast as you might think or expect it to be.
And we do have the clients that don't want to think about it, and that's fine. They don't have to put, my personality is a little bit like that, where if I want someone just to do something for me, then I don't have the time to do it all, and I don't have all the time to spend because we're all busy. And so if you truly don't have a preference and you're just like, nope, I don't know what they like anything, I have $50 and needs to include delivery or however it is, we can just also put it together because time is a short thing anymore. It seems as though, everyone's busy and running, and so there's that. And then also you'll see some that put so much thought into it, and they always worry if the person will like it. And I always say you're giving them a gift, and if they don't like it, it's probably not your fault. So you have to kind of, I don't want people to think it's complicated. There are lots of steps to it, but we can also make it easy as well by just, we had a clinic recently come ahead of time that had 12 gift baskets for Christmas. And they were in and out in probably 30 minutes of just even figuring that out. So there's different things you can do.
And then we put it together for them, so that helps save some time. But yeah, they came in and picked out. They kind of knew what they wanted. Made them all very similar, so it can go fast. But
So we could bring in a basket and we could help pick things and arrange it for us.
yeah, there's some people that they've had baskets of their own that they brought in, or if they wanted a gift certificate to one of the local places for a massage, we've added that to a pampering set or just a regular basket. So yeah, we've combined some things together for sure.
And we've even had ones that are sitting there with us and they're putting things in and they're like, and I'm like, well, you have $12 in the basket, and they wanted it to be more. And so then we end up, they'll opt for like a $2 gift bag, and to where they saw everything in it. We arrange things with like the teas and the cups, so when they open it up, it still looks nice. Some don't want another basket in their house. Some don't know what to do with it. They would rather spend the money in the product they're getting than that. So we try really hard to work with all kinds. I always felt bad. We all remember what it was like to be young, and when someone comes in for a gift for their mom and they have $25 and they want it to look nice, and we're both like, oh, like, how are we going to make this work? Try to make it work because,
We always make it work.
yeah.
That's our motto.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, you don't have to do a gift basket. There are gift bags that you can do for sure, but yeah,
And we've done some like little snips of the artificial, like tied on the gift bag with the ribbon to still kind of dress it up.
Any other questions that you guys may have about designing a gift basket or anything about the shop?
Do you order from outside of Hayes, or do you go to Hobby Lobby or what and pick up stuff, or how does that work for you?
The majority of the time, it's all wholesale items that we get. If we get into a bind that we have to find a box or something that we happen to not have in stock that day, then we'll have to run to the store and grab one because we don't want to tell someone no. But these are all from our wholesale companies. So, yep. Lots of baskets from different places. So, yeah.
And you guys do, the gift baskets, flower arrangements, coffee, and you guys have treats and stuff in there too, don't you?
Yeah, so there's some of the products that we sell, they are like mixes, and so you'll have to make things yourself. Usually they're pretty easy. Some of the soups that we got in have a little bit more to them, like this one you add chicken broth and chicken breasts too, so something a little more than just like adding cream cheese to things or Cool Whip or something. but a lot of things are pretty easy to make, but we do have some things that are ready to eat, kind of like the truffles, the chocolates, the salsas. We have some chips or some pretzels that you can do with some dips that are ready to eat. There's like
Hot pepper bacon.
yeah, hot pepper bacon jam. And then we have a company called Janice and Melanie, which has some cookies that are ready to eat. So that's another thing that's always nice to add to the basket is a mixture of those items. So even if you're gathering things out in the community to think of something, you could go to like Ann Bakery and have her make some of her macaroons to put in there. And then, you know, come to us and put a dip mix in it or something. Kind of collaborate with your local people to kind of create a really pretty basket that's one of a kind. So.
And I can vouch because when I first started this, I didn't know anything retail. I did weddings for a long time and then just kind of got into doing this as well. Ordering was always a process because things are packaged really cute and I was super excited to sell them, and at Christmas, you know, it's a fun time to do that. But then my kids would want them and they tasted terrible. And then I knew I gave that to all these people that it looked cute, but then you're like, would they ever come back? You know, if you give that. So our items are good. We ask for samples on food before we even order from a company to try it. I don't feel comfortable just selling something that looked good. So we do go through a process when we have our wholesale companies of what's good.
How long have you been doing this?
Yeah, she and I have been together for a long time. She started her wedding business, and so that's where we met, and I started working for her there. But this year is 8 years
For the shop, yeah. The wedding business has been 15 years here in Case. And then that's kind of how the shop happened, because I always wanted to get into fresh flowers. Because you need cooler. And so I had known Dwayne personally and his family, and I actually just went shopping myself in their store and then was approached if I wanted to buy it. So it worked out. And then we have the coolers in and we can do, and that's, it kind of just evolved. You know, it's definitely busy. There's times the store side's so busy that it takes all of her, and then I'm back there trying to get weddings sorted for the weekend. So there are some days that little shop has a lot going on in it.
And if you guys haven't been there, it's just down the street. It is the cutest little shop. Like, it makes me, you walk in and I'm like, oh, I want to be as small as this. This is cute.
Thank you, that's very sweet.
I always liked shops in Estes. That's where my family always did vacationing in Estes. My family, personal family, we go every year at Christmas down there, and there's just something about the little shops that are deceiving from the outside, and that when I have had people come in and tell me that shop reminds them of it, and it is so, like, it just gives me goosebumps because that's what I wanted. Or people say, you need somewhere bigger, and I just love the character that it brings.
Yeah, you'll bump elbows during Christmas time for sure if you come in, but we love it because all of our customers have become family to us over the years. So lots of new faces always, but we have lots of familiar faces.
I love their cheese ball mixes, and I have like a bunker grip and other things, and I love to always have the dip mixes and the cheese ball mixes in my pantry so that I know, oh, I've got to get something quick, and you just need some cream cheese and you're good to go. So
Yes, exactly.
I love their stuff, and the coffee is amazing.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, thank you. So, but you guys have any questions for us? Okay.
All right, well, I'll do the raffle. Before you guys head out, make sure to grab a cup of the decaf. It's the Vermont Maple. Smells so good. Callie, you want to do the honors?
Sure, be happy to.
And this is a raffle for a $25 gift certificate there.
Okay. Kelly Cook.
Yeah.
Oh,
Now, what percentage do you think is going to be that I win $25 to a flower place and my wife sitting next to her?
Yeah, but we have lots of stuff you would like to.
coming up.
I'm gonna go look for bologna sandwiches.
No, there you go. All right, I just need your signature, and then I'll hand you off.
Thank you so much. I can't believe it.
Well, thank you so much for joining us tonight. Thanks for having us, and we thank you guys for coming out and listening to us talk. So come by and say hi sometime.